there's the song. Okay, here we go. Welcome to the show that is here today to memorialize our favorite battle rapper after he was apparently bodied in Oakland this weekend. Welcome to a very special, a very somber episode of It's a Black and White Thing. I'm your host, A1. You can follow us on every social media by, not every social media, but you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok by searching at Brains and Bars. Follow us there. You can also check us out on YouTube by going to Brains and Bars. Please like, subscribe, check out all the content there. And you can check out every episode of It's a Black and White Thing by going to the podcast app of your choice and subscribing to It's a Black and White Thing or searching for Brains and Bars. So, we don't, I normally do the show with my guy, my host, my Ace Coon, A Ward, but all we have at this moment is an empty chair because he is no longer there. So we're going to memorialize him today. We're just going to have an empty chair and we're just going to do the show. So we have a interesting show for you today. Wait, you're live?
Oh, what's up, bro? What's up, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. I didn't even know we were recording tonight. Yeah. No, yeah. So I don't know what had happened, man. I was pacing around this venue, and I remember like trying to go over my third round, and they were calling me to the stage, and then boom, the lights just went out, and I saw this light. I saw like this flashing, blinking light or whatever. There's this big line of people. I heard this voice, that said, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." So I was like, I did good in the battle. You know what I mean? I was like, oh man, I must have won, And then next thing you know, like I just woke up on my couch like a few minutes ago. So I don't know. It's been a weird couple of days, bro.
Man. Well, you have to tell me all about it. Well, I'm glad you're here. I mean, like again, I heard that you died. So I mean, I just fully, just thought someone at the house set up the camera and it's just good to go. So, all right. Well, now that I have a co-host, my guy, how are you doing? Now that you're back with the living.
I am back with the living. I am refreshed. I have energy. I'm no longer drunk or high, which apparently I was both of those too. Sarcasm. And yeah, I'm feeling good. No scrapes or bruises. Sometimes when people get like accused of like dying or just getting beat up, they take a while to jump back on camera. But hey, I'm back on camera 2 days later, and I'm just showing it. There's nothing going on here. Like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I put up a fight back. I had a great battle this weekend with Frak, and shout out to Frak, who was incredible as well. And glad to be back in Kansas, Tennessee. Where am I? I have no clue. I don't know. I don't know where my house is. But yeah, guys, glad to be back in the Midwest.
I thought you were going to say the final words you heard were Christians supposed to eat crackers. The crackers are eating you. Hey, I like that line though. But man, but no, we're going to get into all of that. We're going to talk about GTX, Battle of the Bay, the return of grind time. We're going to get into all of that, talk about what you liked, what you didn't like from that. We're going to actually start with sports, get into that first. Then we'll transition to battle rap. So I want to begin here. I want to begin by something that you tweeted that I don't know how much traction it got. I saw a couple of people that I talked to online respond to it. So Patrick Mahomes, was voted recently. NFL Top 100 came out. They released that list, and then he was the number one overall paid player as voted by the players on that list, right? So you tweeted out, is Patrick Mahomes a top 10 QB of all time?
Currently, yes, as of right now.
He's been in the league, I believe, 6 years now, 5 years as a starter.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, two-time Super Bowl champion, two-time Super Bowl MVP. He's been
Two-time league
a
MVP.
two-time league MVP. He's won. I think I don't maybe like two-time All-Pro. I think he's only had that honor twice. Then it might have been in his MVP years. So yeah, I mean, I'll just let you. What do you think? Because obviously you tweeted it out. So what are your thoughts on if Patrick Mahomes is already a top 10 quarterback?
Yeah, it's difficult. Me and Real Deal and Phonetic, we were talking about it. The reason it's always difficult is because I have to factor in those guys I never saw play, that are usually at the top of people's list. You know what I mean? And then you got guys that are like younger than me that are like, how dare you put him over Fran Tarleton, and I'm just kind of like, wait, what? And so that's just kind of the idea there. But when I was talking to Real Deal, I said I don't have him cracking the top 5 yet. I don't have him cracking the top 5 yet, but I do have him in the 7 to 12 range. So I kind of have him in that 7 to 12 range. So for me, if somebody said he was not in the top 10, I wouldn't be like, all right, you know what I mean? But I definitely think he's in the top 15. And I definitely, probably have him in that 7 to 12 range. But I've seen that, in the responses to it, obviously I live, in the Midwest in Kansas City. So it's like a lot of my followers are like, he's top 3 and he's, he's already top 2 and not 2 like type stuff, which is a little wild. But I think that if after this year, he retired, I think he has a strong case for being a top 10 quarterback of all time.
Okay. So I think after the second Super Bowl, I had a discussion like similar to this with a group of people, and I came to the realization. I guess I shouldn't say the realization because it was kind of like off the top of my head, right? I didn't go back and talk about Fran Tarkenton or Johnny Unitas or Bart Starr, Stabler, right? Staubach. I didn't go back to those guys because, again, we didn't see them play. So it's kind of hard to quantify where they rank historically from my standpoint. I think for me, I think I had him just using modern day players. I had him like 6th, just from a modern day standpoint. So that's Manning, Brady. I put Rodgers in there just because of the longevity, although you can really make the case that he's already surpassed Rodgers. And I'll get to some of those numbers on top of like the big stuff, right? The championships, the MVPs. Although Aaron has, I think, 5 MVPs. I think that's right.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, even though Aaron has more MVPs than him, Mahomes is only 1 playoff victory behind him already. So Aaron has 12 playoff wins. Mahomes has 11. Right. So, I mean, I had Elway. I know Elway might be tough for some people when we're talking about in placement ahead of Mahomes, but I feel like Elway did the most with the least. And when you think about from a skill position standpoint, I think Terrell Davis might have been the only All-Pro he ever played with on the from a skill position standpoint. I don't think Ed McCaffrey or Rod Smith were ever first-team All-Pros.
Shannon Sharp wasn't there yet.
Ooh, was Shannon? You know what? I think you're right about this. I'm about to look this up real quick. I think
Bill Romanowski on defense. He was never All-Pro.
Well, only offense though. So I think.
Oh, he's offense.
Yeah. So yeah, Shannon was an All-Pro. I know Terrell Davis was an All-Pro. I think Terrell Davis was a league MVP. Now I got to look up Ed McCaffrey real quick and see if he was ever, and then Rod Smith. Ed McCaffrey was a second team. And maybe the stat that I remember hearing was about before the Super Bowl, before they actually won the Super Bowls, right?
Yeah.
The run that they had in the 80s where they go to 3 Super Bowls, they get blown out in all of them. He didn't have any first team All-Pros on that team from an offensive standpoint. So yeah, the final years where it really comes together around TD. So Montana, Brady, Manning, Elway, and Rodgers. I had those 5 guys.
So you didn't have Marino above him, right?
Oh, Marino. I forgot about Marino. Yes, Marino. So I think that puts him at 7, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Marino. Yeah. Like the thing about Marino, I feel like people don't quite like I understand there's a tendency sometimes because we live in the moment to think that new is better. But like Marino did things that people are still are either just now breaking records or still records that still have not been broken in the 80s when it was not a passing league, where it was
Yeah.
not the rules did not favor the offense like it did today. So yeah, Marino's definitely up there. So I had him like 7. Like I mean, and once you start to factor in all the pre 1980s golden era people,
John
then you
Unitas,
could
Staubach, Otto Graham.
like Y.A.
Um,
Tittle, like
yeah.
all those, Red Grange. I think Red Grange might have played quarterback too. He
Would
played.
you
He was
have
a
him
Bucks.
over Drew Brees? You have him over Drew Brees?
Nah, yeah, that's no brainer. No brainer. I get it. The longevity of Drew Brees. He makes a compelling case, but again, like to me, he and Rodgers are here. Like
You
they're
have
here.
Rodgers above Brett Favre?
I think yes, because I think longevity. I mean, to me, Favre's gunslinger mentality is both a credit and a demerit at the same time. Like
Mm-hmm.
they cancel each other out.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I have a hard time like having Favre a lot. I mean, of his contemporaries because of that, right? Like I think most interceptions until Eli came along.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think Favre is one of those guys. It's like, nah, we're good, we're good. Like he's somewhere in that top 25, right? I mean, if you had of QBs, he's somewhere. I would say 15 to 25, somewhere in there. Once you put everybody in the pot.
Yeah, we basically were just talking about it, and it was like I'm just looking at a couple other lists to see like if there's anybody we missed out on. Yeah, with the conversations we were having were like just Philip Rivers. You got him above or below Philip Rivers? You have him above or below this quarterback or whatever. And yeah, Real Deal had mentioned, he said, Dan Marino's throwing 40, 50 touchdown passes in a league where the average was like 18 or 20. Like Patrick Mahomes is doing it, yes, but like it's a passing league. Like the fact that Dan Marino was doing that back
In
then
1984. And I
with
would love to
OJ
see,
McDuffie.
man, Mark Duper, Mark Clayton. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like again, who were good wide receivers for their time, but they were not all pro. They were not,
yeah.
Hall of Fame guys. So I would love to see what if, for this era, that 1984 where he throws for 5,000 yards, adjusted for this era, what that number would be like. I would have to assume it'd be something like 6,500 yards in a season, which is like Madden video game type stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Another name though was Roethlisberger.
no, not even close.
Okay.
Like not even again, all due respect. I am in this place where to me right now the cutoff for him, he's at number 7 and he is breathing down Aaron Rodgers' neck. Like if Aaron Rodgers, let's just say he's slightly better this year than he was last year, right? First round exit in the playoffs, and let's just say Mahomes doesn't win a Super Bowl. Let's say they make it. Let's say they don't even make it to the AFC title game. They lose in the division round. Depending on what Mahomes' stats are, depending on what the team's record is, all this other stuff, like I could see myself after the season going, you know what? It might be time to flip the switch. It might be time to have those two trades places. And I guess I'm saying that in part because I feel like for Rodgers and the Jets, it is Super Bowl or bust. There is no like, oh yeah, the Jets made the playoffs. Great job. We're super excited. No, none of that. You win the Super Bowl, not make the Super Bowl. You win the Super Bowl. You're all in. You got Rodgers, you went got his people, brought him here, you went got Dalvin Cook, got
You
him
got
up
the
in
best
there.
defensive backs in the league. You got, yeah.
You got all of this. There are no save for injuries, right? Because injuries are one thing you can't factor in. If we had this conversation about failure, right? Is a season of failure if you don't win it all? And in most cases, the answer is no. In this case, the answer is yes. You put all your chips in the middle of the table. You got twin aces. And
Though, I would say this much. I don't know that they have the best or a top echelon coaching
I don't
player wise,
know.
but I don't know that the coaching staff is. If it had been a coaching staff that I'm like, oh, you've been here before, like if a Sean Payton or somebody like inherited this kind of type of team or whatever, and it's like, okay, I know you have a championship type of coaching mindset, or there's a culture about you that is like, but like with this coaching staff, I wonder, but we'll see.
I mean, I got much respect for Robert Saleh. Shout out to his tenure with the 49ers. I think, obviously, you're right. We have to see how he does in crucial game situations, late pressures on you, right? And this is a true test for him, right? Like you are now, granted, you already play in New York, but now you have the quarterback, and so now it changes everything. So yeah, the pressure's on him as well. And if they flounder, I could definitely see him getting fired.
Yeah.
Um,
But
but
I
yeah,
looked
that's
up an
a
article, and the most recent looked like article of the top 25 quarterbacks of all time, which is a site I don't normally take highly or consider as like a highly reputable site. Is Athlon.
that's a gambling site, right?
No, I don't think so.
No,
ATH.
no, it's not.
Yeah,
It's not. They
yeah,
have, like everybody else, they have gambling stuff. But yeah, okay.
yeah. But they have Mahomes at 21, and that was post this year's Super Bowl, so that was like about March.
Mm,
So
interesting.
they definitely have a lot of names above him that I don't think we would consider. Kurt Warner, Steve Young. They got the old guys too. So, but as far as younger guys, they even got Warren Moon above him. Um, and yeah, Troy Aikman, which that's a travesty. Like we can't. Nah, that's sad.
But let me just, so we kind of talked about Mahomes' accolades, right? Let's lay them out in full. So we talked about two Super Bowl MVPs, two MVPs, has
3 All
always
Pros.
won three All Pros, has won his
Mhm.
division every year. His in the playoffs, he's made it to either the AFC title game or the Super Bowl. 5,000 yards, 50 touchdown season.
Only one of two people. Peyton is the other one.
Broke the single season yardage record last year, taking that from Drew Brees. I think he's like 11-3. I think in the playoffs, including Super Bowl. So two losses in the AFC title game, one Super Bowl loss, two and
Oh, yeah.
one in Super Bowls.
Mhm.
I mean, if he said today, you know what, I've done enough. I want to go home, be a family man. I'm going to take over Oakley and run their company and sell shades. He's no brainer.
Hall of
First
Fame.
ballot, unanimous selection. Like his career. Oh, let me also, since you mentioned Troy Aikman, because when I replied to Ledge, is it Ledge from Pod Tier?
Yeah.
I replied to him because he was like, come on, like you're doing too much. And I'm like, those stats and the cherry on the cake or whatever y'all want to say it. Troy Aikman said, talk to me when he's got 33% of my Super Bowls. He's at 66%. That's the most important stat. He's at 66% of your Super Bowl tally, Troy. He's knocking on your door. All right. So all of those things, like there are people who would kill, who've had great careers, who don't have those accolades. Right? Shout out to Ben. He's got two Super Bowls. He's not as decorated. Eli, not as decorated. Drew, incredibly decorated, not as like again. So for me, like when you have all these things at such an early part of your career, it makes it hard for me to say you're not top 10, right?
Yeah, and
From
that's
your
my thing is
position.
like a guy on Twitter was talking about, I don't know if he was talking about Eli or somebody, and I'm like, okay, so are you just saying it's all about tenure? Like, could if Mahomes played 10 more years and didn't win another anything, right? You would look at him and be like, oh, but he's played 16 years, he's accumulated all these yards, and he's this decorated. And that's what you're doing. You're putting these guys ahead of him based off just how many more years they've played, not based off what they've actually like won, you know. And so that's why I'm just kind of like, if he has 10 more mediocre years, Like that's not a good thing. That's that like mediocre years shouldn't add to your case of being a Hall of Famer.
Absolutely,
Like we
absolutely, and
talked
that's
about with
why.
Eli. It's like Eli's the Brady Slayer, his last name. He's got the 2 rings or whatever, but it's like none of those mediocre years helped him. What we got to count the years that helped you get to the Hall of Fame, and Mahomes has got 5 of them. 6.
Man, so you about to get me started because
Don't do it.
the
Don't do it.
the day Eli Manning makes the Hall of Fame, I might just cut the camera on, no matter where I am when they announce it, and I'm just going to go. You have severely watered down the product, guys. You have stepped on the product many times over by putting. You talk about you get in the Hall of Fame based on what you've done. He got in the Hall of Fame based off 2 seasons. 2. He got in the Hall of Fame based off 2 seasons. Did not make the playoffs in any other year that he didn't win the Super Bowl. I don't care that he beat the undefeated Patriots. I don't care. I just had this conversation with somebody else today talking about battle rap, right? We're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into battle rap. I just want to make this point right now. If somebody's round is just okay, not bad, not good, but okay, and then the last minute is just incredible, that doesn't make the entire round incredible. It doesn't mean that you win the round. It just means you were just okay, and then you took off at the end. Cool. This is what we're doing with his career. A bunch of okay moments, 2 highlight moments, and now all of a sudden he goes into the Hall of Fame just because one of those moments. Well, I'm sorry, both of those moments somehow he beat Lux twice. He beat Lux twice and then lost to Jethro, and was terrible against all these other opponents. Somehow beat Lux twice, and now he's a Hall of Famer. And I just don't. I'm going to lose my mind because you guys are going to antagonize me. You're going to make me mad, and I'm going to cut this camera on, and I'm going to unleash an incredible rant. And I'm just going to cut. I'm not even going to say that. I'm just going to cut the camera off and walk away. Anyway, I'm sorry. Freaking Eli Manning, a Hall of Famer. And the thing that really makes me mad is when people go, future Hall. He's not a Hall of Famer. He is not a Hall of Famer. I don't care. I don't. All right, I'm done. That.
Tell me how you feel about Phillip Rivers.
Okay. Phillip also not a Hall of Famer.
All right.
Not a Hall of Famer. Great career. Retired his jersey in LA,
Hall of Fame dad.
San Diego. His wife is pregnant again.
Are you serious?
Dog, I swear, I promise, I just saw that his wife is pregnant again. Now you're going to make me look this up. But yeah, he is the GOAT father. Like he's
I wish
Father
the
Abraham.
quarterbacks would have been around when Phillip Rivers was playing. I'd love to see him follow around that whole family.
He has a whole team.
Yeah.
Like, hold up. I think I know. You're going to make me look this up. Yeah. They're expecting their 10th child.
Jeez.
A baby boy this October. Like, dog. Like, I mean, I guess what else is he going to do? He retired. He can't play football anymore.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah.
Repopulate the earth, man. All right. Anyway, let's move on. Let's keep it moving. All right. So, y'all, let's know what y'all think, man. Is Patrick Mahomes a top 10 QB? We say yes. What say you? Speaking of, well, let's stick here in Kansas City because there's an interesting story going around right now. And by interesting, I'm talking about Chris Jones. Chris Jones is the all-pro defensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs. He is currently sitting out of training camp right now. This ties in with 2 topics I want to talk about. So I want to talk about paying players their worth. And yes, this is going to get me on my soapbox to talk about the running back. But we're going to stay here in Kansas City and talk about Chris Jones. Chris Jones wants to be paid, according to old tweets and I think old comments he's made, he at least wants to be the 2nd highest paid defensive tackle in the league. Right now, Aaron Donald is number 1, making $30 million a year. And number 2, who just got his deal, I believe it is Quentin Williams, who is making $24 million a year. Right? So the story goes is that the number that I've seen swirl around the internet, and this has not been verified, is that the Chiefs have offered him 27. and that he's looking to get closer to the Aaron Donald number than the Quinnen Williams number, despite the fact that 27 is literally in the middle of the Aaron Donald number and the Quinnen Williams number.
Is
So
Aaron Donald at 30?
he's at 30. I'm pulling this up on Sport Track right now, but I believe he is at 30 million. Quinnen Williams is at 24, right? So Aaron Donald is obviously lapping the field.
Yeah.
So what if you are sitting in the if you're a Brett Veach, right? Do you cave in and give Chris Jones $30 million a year? Let's just say 4 years.
Is Chris Jones as important to winning a Super Bowl as Patrick Mahomes is?
No. Sorry. I was looking at that wasn't me really pondering the question. I was looking at the defensive line numbers. But no.
I think he's the best player on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly. He's the best defense player in the division.
Ooh, over Max Crosby.
Yes, I think he's better from the Raiders, the defensive end.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw another name out there. Patrick Surtain, the second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now on the list of the top 100, he finished in the top 10. Was Crosby and Surtain above him?
No. So let me get my numbers right here, and I'll let you continue. Myles Garrett is second at 20. That's defensive tackle. I'm sorry. This is defensive line, but I was right. Aaron Donald's at 31, and Quinnen Williams is at 24. But continue.
So in the top 100, the NFL's top 100 Chris Jones was top 10, right?
He was number 10. It was number 10.
Okay, and I don't know if there was anybody in the division defensively above him. I think he's that important. I think he's that important to the point to where the Chiefs need to pay him what? I think they need to get to $29 million.
I got one more name for you before I answer that. Joey Bosa.
It's a close one. Yeah, it's a close one.
I think I might edge Chris on that. I think, and it's part because I said, can you get to 28 and a half if you're Kansas City? To me, 28 and a half, it gets you $1.5 million allegedly, more than the first offer. And you're only $1.5 million behind Donald, or 2.5 if you're 31 a year. It's a 4-year deal. The guarantee money probably runs out after year 3. And at that point, if he has faded or diminished, you can let him go. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess here's my thing. My thing is I feel like GMs and owners, they pay who they want. They can make this happen.
Yeah.
And I had a shot to the homie Reese. Reese goes, well, you got Willie Gay coming up. You got Nick Bolton coming up. You got Trey Smith. You got Snead, Creed Humphrey, all these guys whose deals are coming up. And he goes, well, if you give him 30, let's just say you give him 30, you're not going to be able to re-sign all those guys. And I'm like, well, bro, if the margin is that thin and taking $3 million away from Chris Jones means you don't get these other guys, you're not re-signing them anyway. They're gone.
Yeah. Because
Creed Humphrey's going to ask for top 3 money at his position. I think Bolton is going to ask for top 10. I think Snead, I don't know. Snead is a wild card because I don't know. I'm not sure what people across the league think of L'Jarius Snead as a corner.
Yeah.
So Trey
Smith gone. Trey Smith going to the Tennessee Titans.
I do think he's going to ask for top 10 money, though. I think he's going to ask for top 10 bread. So, I mean, I don't know, bro. Like, to me, I feel like owners do what they want. They pay who they want. They take care of the quarterbacks. They take care of who they like. And so that leads me to this point. I want to make this point about knowing your worth and getting your worth. Shout out to Saquon. I think we had this conversation before about who's more important to the offense, Saquon or Daniel Jones. Saquon asked for what 20? He asked for 16. They offered at 13. Allegedly, I don't know if this is true, right? This is just reports. Daniel Jones asked for 46. They gave him 40. Now I'm going to ask you, who were they bidding against for Daniel Jones? You tell me. You are on the you in the Daniel Jones camp. This is a make or break season for him, in my opinion.
Well, no, they are bidding against. I mean, because there's the teams out here reaching for quarterbacks like crazy.
Nah, they weren't giving him $40 million. No team was going to give Daniel Jones $40 million.
Dog, Las Vegas Raiders would give Daniel Jones 40.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They were not giving him $40 million a year.
They get that man Garoppolo what?
Let me look it up. I don't think they gave him that. You got to think, Jimmy was coming off an injury and he was a cast off, right?
What did David Carr get in New Orleans?
Not 40.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can look this up. So his base salary right now is 20. His base salary right now is $22 million.
Garoppolo.
And it's next year. His average salary is $24 million a year. It's 3 years, $72 million. He's got 45 total guaranteed though. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Carr got $60 million.
That's right. Let me see what the guarantee. What you see the guarantees on that?
It says base salary of 1.5, signing bonus of 28.5, so that's 30. Carrying a cap hit of 7 something, and never mind. There's a dead cap value of 60 million. I don't know what that means.
He got 4 years, 150. So he's making 37 a year, 37.5.
Yeah, they would have gave Daniel Jones 40.
I don't think so, bro. I think he would have got Derek. I think he gets the Derek Carr deal. I think he would have gotten the 4 year, 150, 37 million. And then I think it would have, he would have been able to get, if he stunk to join up, the team gets out after the second year. That's essentially what the Giants did. And so my thing is this. You're telling me you don't have the money to give Saquon his $13 million, but you gave Daniel 40. There's your $3 million right there. You could have paid both. You could have did that, but you chose not to. And to me, that it's not a factor of right or wrong because you're only worth what someone is willing to pay. Mm-hmm. But again, you can make that happen. And the owners, I know running backs might feel like owners are colluding against them, and they might. But you'll never be able to prove it because you have the media and fans who will carry owners' water at just about every turn. And they're going to dictate that you're worth this, that, or the third. Or they decide that, you don't need running backs to win championships, right? So I want to ask you this question.
So the thing about comparing like a Daniel Jones like contract and a Saquon contract is almost like buying a house and buying a car. With a quarterback, you're like on what's like a 30-year mortgage, and a car is like a 5-year, loan or whatever. So a quarterback, you're assuming like if this is my franchise guy, he's gonna be playing for me 10, 15, however many years we can, keep him. And a running back, we're looking at 6, 7, something like that. So you might be more, understanding when it comes to going and getting that quarterback taken care of now so that I can keep him for a while if you have those high hopes of that big picture. Because the running back is just, Saquon Barkley's got what, 3 more years?
I don't know. Who knows? Daniel Jones might have 3 more years. That's the thing about the NFL. I get it.
But like the facts are the facts. Look at Ezekiel Elliott, Kareem Hunt, and Dalvin Cook right now. Alvin Kamara is probably on his, they luckily time shared him to where he might have a year, maybe more too than those guys if he can, stay on the field. But it's like,
I think Alvin has more time left than we think. I think Saquon has more time left than we think. Ezekiel Elliott was used as a battering ram. Mm-hmm. So I feel like his case is a little bit different than everyone else because he was used the way they use old school running backs, right? Picking up blitzes, crashing to the middle of the line 20 times a game, and with the added work of catching the ball.
Yeah.
Right. Because he's a decent pass catching back. But that house analogy works. But with some of these quarterbacks, what you don't know is that the house already has foundational issues. It was built upon like a brown recluse nest. And so as soon as you move in, there are spiders coming out the woodworks everywhere you turn, right? Like that all sounds good. But some of these houses are coming with some issues, and the seller's not telling you this before you move in. And after you move in, you're like, oh my God, what did we get ourselves into? Meanwhile, that good old car, yeah, it's beat up. You might have had to replace an alternator or two. Transmission might have went out, but it's getting you to point A to point B. It's good old faithful. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Like I said, I feel like the elite top tier guys, the Saquons, the Alvins, the Christian McCaffreys. Let me tell you something. That offense, I forget the guy who did this, the guy who does 49ers content. But basically, when Christian McCaffrey got there, every part of that offense elevated and got better because of one guy. Like either Brock Purdy is Tom Brady 2.0, and everybody in the league missed it for 7 rounds until the very end of the draft, until the Niners went, all right, we'll throw it against the wall, see what sticks. Or something happened because you had all pros in Debo, Kittle, Brandon Ayuk's a really good wide receiver. Elijah Mitchell's a decent. Elijah Mitchell health. If he's healthy,
keep going.
He can start for every team in his league, but his health is a problem.
Don't forget third down.
And Juwan Jennings.
Yes, thank you.
And Juwan Jennings. So, but shout out to third down. Was it third
down?
Third and Juwan. So you know, but again, they have a really good offense as it is. That offense was elevated because you had to know where 23 was on the field at all times. So my point is this: pay the guys, man. That's all I'm saying. Pay them what they're worth, which is more than just $10 million or $13 million. To me, when it comes to the salary cap, we'll close the loop on this by coming back to Chris Jones. Give him the $30 million and figure it out from there. Just figure it out. The salary cap is going to incrementally increase over the next couple of years because of the TV deal. Figure out how to make it work and keep as Creed Humphrey and Bolton and Snead. Make it work. This is what you get paid to do. Not make excuses. This is what the Chiefs are doing. They're making excuses. Oh, well, you know, that's a little bit too much. They already have this kind of this notion around the league of them being cheap, especially when it comes to re-signing their players, right?
Patriots did the same thing back when they were a dynasty. They're following the blueprint.
This is true. But I don't know. Last thing I say on this, you tell me what you think about this thought. When you let great talent walk out the door, you are asking your quarterback to pick up the slack, right? They're the most important player of the team. If you lose, if you let a Tyreek Hill walk out the door, you're telling Patrick Mahomes, we're letting this guy walk out the door, and we're banking on the sum of the parts, along with you being able to make it work. If you trade Chris Jones, let him walk, whatever, you are telling Patrick Mahomes, we're letting this guy go. The guy we get him with, or replace him with, he might be as good, or it might be a couple of guys in rotation who try to give us what Chris made us as a defense. You, Patrick, and the rest of the offense are going to have to fill in the blanks and make up for what we lost. Like, do you think that to be a true statement?
I'd say, yeah. I just say that the only thing the Chiefs have going for them is that they can look at their quarterback and say, have we not drafted very well? Have we not hit home runs in who we bring in to be these guys that replace these guys? You know, you let somebody walk and it's just like a guy that's, you know, and you're a team that's not winning all the time or whatever. Like it's one thing, but like we're winning games. We let Tyreek Hill walk, you know, we know how to coach. We know how to, you know, put together, you know, the playbook and scout and everything. We know how to draft. Trust us.
Hey, 2 championships in 5 years buys you a lot of trust.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does.
I mean, Brett
but
Beach
I'll say this much. I'm also going to Patrick Mahomes and I'm saying, you want us to pay him? You know what I mean? Like Patrick, like I'm listening to what Patrick's saying too. I'm like, hey, you want us to pay him? You know? Patrick's probably like, Pay the man.
Well, I guess that's the other part of it too, right? Why the Chiefs are having this cheat tag placed on them. Because the contract they signed for Mahomes, all the talk was, well, this contract gives us the flexibility to go to make sure that we can keep this team together for as long as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
You let Tyreek walk out the door, and if you listen to him, he still hasn't gotten over it. He's still. I hope Tyreek. I hope you're getting therapy because it sounds like you need therapy because this is sounding
Yeah,
like
yeah,
he's
yeah,
signing over an ex that you left.
yeah.
But anyway, they let Tyreek walk. I mean, I'll ask you. You bet a week's pay right now. Chris Jones is Chris Jones a member of the Kansas City Chiefs next year?
Yeah, I'm putting the money on it. Yeah.
We'll see. I don't think so. I think this plays out. He plays this year, and he leaves. I think he's not going to resign with them. I don't think they're going to franchise tag him. I think the value of that tag is too high at this point for the Chiefs. And I think he walks. I don't think he's back next year. So that's all I'm saying. Like you're gonna that cheap tag is going to hit, and I get the Patriot way. All right, but we'll see what happens, man. Y'all, let us know what y'all think. Should the Chiefs pay Chris Jones? Should let us know what y'all think. Hit us up at Brains Bars, Twitter, Facebook, and I think TikTok. I don't know what I have my TikTok name is. It might be at Brains Bars. I don't know. Anyway, all right, man. Real quick, I want to hit this NBA story. We don't have to. We can get in the battle after this. I don't think unless you got any other sports stories you want to talk about.
No, I'm good. Except
By
for
the way,
Banana Ball. You didn't
I'm
see
sorry.
Banana Ball? You
No,
didn't see
what's
the
that?
highlights for it. You need to go watch Sports Center. They had the highlights last night for Banana Ball. It's an interesting concept. I don't know enough about it to explain it to you, but I was watching the highlights last night and it was it was crazy. So maybe next week or maybe another time we're able to talk about this. But essentially the score was tied. I don't know if that's the whole game or not, but it's a pitcher and a batter. And I guess it's like overtime. Like if it's tied after how many innings, one pitcher, one batter. The batter, if he gets a hit, the pitcher has to go get that ball and get it to home before the batter gets home. So like if he hits a shot, a base hit to like the wall or something, the pitcher's taking off on the mound, to try to get the ball to get it home before he gets home or whatever. But it's a very interesting. But it's like, man, it was weird. The dude was doing backflips and catching pop flies in the outfield. It's like a very braggadocious bat flipping, Yeah, I'll shoot you some links. But yeah, but we can keep going.
Is this the Savannah Bananas?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've heard about this group. I don't know if you ever seen them go viral when they like start doing dances and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have this one. They have this one rule where, like, if a fan catches a foul ball, it's an out.
Yeah, oh, that's pretty sweet. I didn't know that. Yeah, they were
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
somebody like last night. The dude like did literally a backflip and caught the pop fly in center field in the middle of his backflip.
They are very entertaining. I will say that they're very entertaining. So, man, let me say. Actually, I do have one last thing. This is a personal thing of mine because I am a 49ers fan, and I'll get to this last NBA story. So Trey Lance plays in preseason, right? Third pick overall from a couple of years ago. He's either going to be QB2 or QB3. He's fighting with Sam Darnold for that second spot. Brock Purdy is the deserved starter. Trey Lance looks horrible. Honestly, the offensive line did not play great as well, giving up instant pressures, so on and so forth. Trey Lance missing receivers. As he plays a little bit longer, he looks better, right? The problem is that for a team that is ready to win now, they don't have the luxury of waiting for Trey Lance to get better as the season progresses, right? The San Francisco 49ers traded 3 first-round draft picks and I believe a second-round draft pick to move up from, I think, 13 to pick number 3, right? So here's my thing. Salute, Trap Buddha. What's up? Hope your day is going well. So here's my thing. If you are going to trade all this draft capital and all these assets to move up, why would you then take a quarterback that with a win now team, right? This isn't like Indianapolis or Houston, right? Why would you trade up to go get a guy that you have to mold and that you have to wait to be better? I'm not a Mac Jones guy. I would have preferred for them to stay at 13 and get Mac Jones because I think he went 15 to the Patriots. Stay there, get Mac Jones. He's ready to play now. He doesn't require as much molding. He could have grown into the position a little bit faster than Brock Purdy, than Lance. And my concern with Kyle Shanahan is this. As good as he is as a play caller, I have serious questions about his GM ability. Of the salute, of the I think he's had 6 first-round draft picks thus far. Only one is on track to be re-signed, and that's Nick Bosa. And they're having a contract dispute themselves right now.
Yeah.
Trey Lance likely gone. Solomon Thomas didn't stick. Brandon Ayuk may leave because he's a first-round draft pick, but I think he's going to leave in free agency, not necessarily because he's not good enough. Because I think Brandon Ayuk is going to have a breakout year finally this year. But again, like, you can't miss on these picks when you have them, right? So Trey Lance, no. Javon Kinlaw right now is looking like he's going to be a bust. Nick Bosa, yes. Mike McGlinchey, gone. Solomon Thomas, gone. Reuben Foster, forgot about him, gone. Like, his ability to scout talent is in question to me. And honestly, if it were anybody else, missing this badly on a quarterback is a fireable offense. But because the team has had success in spite of it, he's going to stick around. I just wanted to get that off my chest. You don't have to respond. You don't have to say anything. I just wanted to get that off my chest and just say that. All right, real quick. James Harden, we get into the battle. You seen this James Harden story?
I've seen that the Philadelphia 76ers took him off the trade market and have decided that they're no longer shopping him, and I guess he's going to be a Sixer.
Not according to James Harden.
Oh,
James Harden, while in China, he said that Daryl Morey was a liar and that he would never play for any team that Daryl Morey is a part of. And last I checked, Daryl Morey is still the GM of the Philadelphia 76ers.
Wow.
Now, here's why this is interesting, right? Yes, that's what Harden said. Here's what's interesting. So they were investigated last year for potential misconduct because the story goes is that James was promised that he would get a long-term deal if he opted out of the final year of his deal, which would have paid him $47 million, and re-signed for like 30. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he was promised this. He was not given that. And so he wanted a trade so he could get that long-term deal, a 4-year, probably $250 million deal. Right? And so now the Sixers have said, we can't find a sufficient trade partner to give us what we want. So you're coming back and you're going to play for us on this 1-year deal. And I'm like, Daryl, why? Why would you promise this man this money that you knew this is like, was he supposed to be on the trenches card too? Was he supposed to be on the trenches card? And Daryl Morey said, hey, if you back out, I got this brand for you.
Yeah.
Was he supposed to battle Aye Verb? Was he promised Verb on Summer Madness too? Like, what? Dog, that story to me is crazy. And so the CBA prevents James Harden from not showing up, but I do fear that Santa Claus is going to show up on opening day and claim that his back is hurt and his knees is hurt. Like, this story, like, this is, again, I just wanted to bring this story up. This is a story that needs to be monitored. We'll watch going forward.
Yeah.
But if I'm Joel Embiid, if I'm looking at all this, I'm going to play this season out. I'm going to be a good soldier. But if this season goes to pot because you don't have James Harden, I'm looking at them and saying, hey, guys, I think it's time for me to go. I think it's time for me to get up out of Dodge. I have to win a championship, and I can't waste time waiting for you guys to figure this out. Let me look at what Joel Embiid's bread is looking like right now. I think he's under contract for at least another 4 years.
And we know Philadelphia fans are impatient.
Dog, listen, hold on. I'm sorry. I just put up his contract. This is what he's slated to make over the next 4 years. He's under contract he has a player option in 2026, 2027 season. He's going to make this year 47 million, then 51, then 55, then 59.
It's nice.
Generation. Oh my. Why couldn't I be 6'8"? That's all I need. I'm 6'2". All I needed was just a couple more, God. And I could have been name a 6'8" garbage man. You know what I'm saying? I could have defense and boards. I could have been Udonis Haslem, bro. I could have been Udonis. Provide great leadership, great locker room presence, guy. I could have done that. Yeah, man. All right. That's all I wanted to say. I want to get it out. All right.
Your NBA nickname would have been the Chaplain. That's what your nickname would have been.
Hey, any of y'all brothers need prayer? I can lead Bible study, whatever you need. I got you. You know what I'm saying? I can come in 2 minutes a game, give you 3 good hard 5, about 4 boards, and I'm gonna make 20 million. 20 million a season. I'm there.
I'm good.
All right, man.